Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey,
and we are the.
Markout
Oh,
Movie Podcasters.
I'll do it. Shoot, Brandon, I'll try to give you the ball. Anyway, welcome to the Markout Movie Podcast. Today we are doing a fan request. Who requested it, Brandon?
Katie Collins, an old friend
She,
of mine.
all right.
I just
Uh,
tagged her in your video on Facebook, so
all right.
she'll
But
see it.
before we do that, we're going to share our thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's see. Bear with me here for a second. Um, let's. I'm trying to see how to do this. I haven't done it on the. I haven't done this in a long time. So, but yeah, here let me go ahead and we're gonna look at the trailer.
Oh, the
Uh,
trailer. I didn't
yeah.
know what you were doing.
We were gone for quite a while. But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians.
Hello, we come in peace.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
All right. Let's go ahead and stop sharing. I didn't want to get flagged. But anyway. Oh. So that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Brandon, we all have experienced the sound of a dodgeball hitting our face.
Have we?
Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone in this world has at least hit a dodgeball. Hit them
But in the
some
face.
part in the body. Maybe not the face. Might be the head. Might be the body. Might stomach. Might be the back. Might be quivering. But if you had a dodgeball, we all had dodgeballs. You know what I'm saying.
I've
Anyway.
had a baseball hit me in the face, but not a dodgeball.
Brandon, because you live recklessly, Brandon. But yeah, real quick, we're going to discuss Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I went and saw it this past weekend. Brandon saw it when?
This past weekend, Saturday.
I'm going to go ahead and say my spiel on it. I loved it. I thought it's I'll say it's the best Guardians film past the first one. So I say it would go 1, 3, and then 2. But I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought some characters got some good closure, and it redeemed Peter Quill for me. Where Peter, ever since Endgame, Infinity War, he kind of has been on my list. He's on my list, but I think that he has been redeemed for me in this film. You actually care. I thought the villain was pretty good. I know some people were saying that he's just like another villain like everybody else, but I thought he was a really good villain. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. Nebula. I thought Nebula was great. So yeah, what was your thoughts?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it's the best Marvel film since Infinity War. I personally think it's the best Guardians film, but hey, it's not bad to disagree. What's number one? But I thought it had its moments at comedy, but it was an emotional journey, and it's been Rocket's story all along. So I had a great time with it. I thought everyone of the original of the team now had great moments. Even the newer cast had some pretty good moments. I agree with the villain. I think he's really good. I actually think he's probably my favorite villain in this Guardians trilogy. He's so despicable. He's he did his job, and I've even heard some people say they want him to replace Krang. Is that Kang?
Yep.
But I don't know. It hit all the marks it was supposed to hit. It made it feel like the MCU again. In my review, I said it made pretty much most of Phase 4 looked ignorant, but it just it did what it needed to do, put Marvel back where it used to be.
I would say that that it for sure it left. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was where you tagged Kate. Okay, but yeah, I see that it left. It left. James Gunn left Marvel like in a really good place to go from this film, or at least Guardians if they want to do something. But he left them in a really good. He said he allowed them a soft pitch to kind of do, like he could have left them like holding the bag, but he said, "Here, you got a blueprint," and whether or not they, take and run with it, because this is like I agree with you, it's the best film since Endgame. I would say since Endgame, but that Marvel has done. And now we have the Marvels coming out. It's gonna be a step backwards. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. I gave it 5 markouts out of 5 stars on Letterboxd with 5 markouts out of 5 here. Brandon?
Oh, I did too. I just think it's going to be hard to top it as a comic book film this year. I think I do agree that I think Marvel's going to take a step backwards after this. It's that good though. I mean, he left him in a good place, and now I feel that he's going to do something magic with DC after watching this. That's just my opinion. I think DC's going to be fine.
Yeah.
No matter who they get, whether we agree with the cash changes or not, or who stayed. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to bring up too is like we and you spoke about this. Like we thought, well, James Gunn, what are you doing? You're getting rid of, Henry Cavill. You're getting rid of this one. You're getting rid of that. And we're like, what are you doing? The Snyder stuff. You're getting rid of acting like that didn't happen. And so you're just like, oh my goodness. But after seeing what he did with Guardians, DC. I'm going to make a prediction and say that DC is going to become better than Marvel, and this is the phase of DC that's going to. Cause I don't see how Marvel's going to keep up with Gunn and what he's going to do with DC. Personally,
well, they got to go back to basics. They got to find their identity again, and hopefully they do. Just from what we've seen now, Phase 4, and I'm just gonna say Phase 5, Ant-Man. Didn't love it, but I liked it. But they gotta find their identity again. They lost it, so I don't know if they can. I hope they can. I mean, you still got Kevin running the ship, so I think he just got his hands on too much. He just needs to slow down.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, what's going up on my screen? Exit that. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our review of a fan request, the Blackwell Ghost. Let me try to play a little. The last trailer of Guardians, did it play okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing real quick to show just a little bit of Blackwell Ghost from 2017.
This is a real video. It came straight from our machine, yet people still think it's fake. The public is always going to think it's fake, even if it's real.
This is the camera. I'm about to set it. It records all night, and we got every camera in the house out here rolling on continuous record. Stay here, all right?
All right, I'm gonna stop it. But yeah, Blackwell Ghost, 2017. First thing I want to say about this movie is now, Brandon, I feel you because we was conversating. I hate that, so I had to pause it. I was watching on Prime, I had to pause it for some reason. I forgot. I had maybe my grandkid wanted me or something. But I had to pause it, and I hate that I had to pause it because by pausing it, I seen the name of an actor playing in the movie as the character or whatever, and I'm like, I wanted that. I was going into it thinking, even if it's a fake, I'm going to treat it like it's a real documentary. And Brandon, you said you had a similar experience, but I want you to tell people your experience and why, you know.
Yeah, man, I went into this thing treating it as it was real. And once Turner Clay, I just want to make sure I got his first name right.
Greg, is that Greg, right?
No, this is the filmmaker.
The
Once
host.
he meets Greg, I'm like, wait a second. I know this guy. I had talked to this guy years ago about working on a movie that I was trying to make in the wilderness. I wanted him to play a sheriff, and we had multiple conversations. Sonny Burnett's his name, is the actor who plays Greg in this, and I was like, man, it took me out of the movie for a second. I was like, man, I wanted to. I was really enjoying the vibe of the documentary and everything. Then I see him, and it just it took me out of it. It's like it just took the breath out of me, And I was like, man. But I was like, it was funny because it's like, man, well, it brought back some fun memories when I was writing screenplays and trying to get projects off the ground. So I was like, made me think of those days. So, but yeah, it was a fun experience seeing Sonny. Like I wasn't expecting. It's the first time on the podcast we've actually reviewed a film that I know someone personally. So
I will say this too. Now, going into this, I was surprised that like the first title card we really see is Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm like, oh, Kentucky. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then like hearing him talk, that's why I said he reminded me of you. Because like literally, being in Kentucky, we hear Kentucky all the time. And so, when I talk, I'm Kentucky, But yeah, anyway, it was really cool just to see that. I wonder, and then it makes me wonder, even though it says title card Pennsylvania, I wonder if reality is still if everything's still shot in Lexington.
Yeah, he works out of Kentucky. Well, he used to. I don't know now, but back then, around 2010, 2011, when I was talking to him, yeah, he always worked out of like Louisville, Lexington areas. Yeah. So
yeah, I would say this. So the movie is set up like a documentarian. He's trying to get into becoming a documentary, but he's made zombie movies, like low budget zombie films.
It's true. I looked him up. He does make zombie movies, so it adds to the authenticity of what he's trying to convey here.
So I like that he's made zombie films, and he wanted to try his hand in making a documentary on a ghost. But he's going in as a skeptic. Like, look, I don't believe in ghosts. And the very first shot that you see with the John guy at the hotel, and he goes in, and you can see the figure walking, like you can see the figure walking, like blurry, like walking in the hallway, and the guy's like, "Oh man, all this furniture is like moves around." It made me like at that point, like I wonder if this is real footage. Like that's what my first thought was. I wonder if this is real footage. I didn't look it up because I didn't want to spoil anything for me. So, that was my first thought is, I wonder if this is real. Like this, is this like a viral video that's been online somewhere? And so I was like, I went in like you said, man. I went in thinking, all right, we're gonna treat it like it's a real documentary, and I think it's the best way. I think that was his motivation in the movie, is have us look at it like it's like Blair Witch. You went in watching Blair Witch as if the Blair Witch Project was real, and the way they marketed it and everything. You went into it like you didn't know. And back then we didn't have the internet like that, so we didn't know that it wasn't real,
Yeah.
I didn't. I can speak for myself.
Oh, I looked at it. It was real. I had to pause it every 10 minutes because I believed it was real. I have no shame in admitting that either.
Well,
But
this movie or Blair Witch?
Blair Witch,
Okay.
not this one. But what I will say about this one, the conversations felt like they were real conversations. And when you do films in this style, they don't feel real, like Paranormal Activity.
Yep.
I didn't believe anything that was happening in that movie.
Yeah, and I would say this too. Like in this movie, I would say that the husband and the wife, Terry, I think her name, Terry or Trace, Terry, it's a T name. I think Terry. But I think that, like you said, they seem authentic. They seem real, and even though 30 minutes into it, you don't see real paranormal activity. And that's why I texted. I'm like 30 minutes into it, I'm just waiting for something to happen, But when it does happen, I would say this: even before that, I was still invested in it. I wasn't like bored. Like I'm ready for this to be over. Like I was actually like, okay, I'm waiting for something to happen, and it made me. I'll blame Mike Flanagan because he made me look at every frame of film that is like look everywhere just to see if I'm seeing anything or missing anything.
Yeah.
You don't have that so much in this film, but it makes you want to do that just to kind of see, well, maybe something is put there and you don't see it. So,
yeah, I really liked it. Was early on. I think it was around the 15-20 minute mark with the lamp. It goes on, it cuts on, and it goes off, and you see like a presence walking in the other room. I thought that was pretty cool. If I was watching it like he was watching it, that would creep me out. So I really liked that early on. But yeah, I agree with you. A lot didn't happen, but I liked his energy. I was invested in what he was doing. Even though a lot's not going on, I like the guy. I like the story he's trying to tell. Is it real or is it not real? I really was invested in that.
Yeah, me too. They first go and visit the homeowner, the guy that you know. They go visit him, and he gives them a tour of the house, kind of explains some of the things that he's experienced there.
Yeah.
And then eventually shows them the Blackwell at the very bottom. At first, it is weird. It's an odd thing to see in a house, and then he explains the origin of it. But you think it's just a wives' tale.
Yeah.
But you couldn't find out that it's reality. Man, I love when the supernatural stuff start happening. Because, like I said to you, I I ain't gonna. I'm gonna say this. I was like white people.
I know.
I was like white people. I'm like,
I even wrote that in my notes. Capitalized white people. I did it for you, Aaron.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. Like what, Brandon? What's a part that you noticed that you thought white people?
Well, when Greg is telling him everything that's going on and the origins behind it, how Miss Blackwell, cut up kids and put them in that well. I was like, and he's experiencing supernatural stuff there. I'm like, why are you still there? But another moment is when all the supernatural stuff is kind of going on in the last act. They don't leave the house. They stay.
That's Brandon, seriously, like that's one thing that I was literally was saying. I was like, talking to the screen. I was like, just leave. It's ain't your house. Well, I guess I gotta go check the break. No, I don't gotta check the breaker, honey. Let's go. Grab your bags. We're leaving out. We're leaving right now. We have no reason to stay in this house. I'll leave it smoking, bro.
But on another level, it shows his commitment to the project.
One thing that I was thinking about when I was watching this movie was actually Hell House LLC. I think Hell House LLC did it better in the sense of the way that they orchestrate the scares that happen in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and like the ghost things, like just so subtle and so good. This one now it does have the biggest scare in the movie. What's to me, I'll say the third act, like you said, the last stuff that happened was really scary. Even they was able to take something simple as water running
Yeah.
and make it freaky. And
Yeah.
I was like, and was it the act before that with the lights on the stove and stuff going on? I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was scary too. I was like, man,
Yeah. I mean, it really started with the door. They woke up with the door open. And like, was that shut last night? You know, it's like they couldn't remember. And I was like, that's your first sign, man. Get out of that house. This white boy's not staying, okay? I ain't dealing with no supernatural. No, sir. I'm getting out of that house. So
yeah. I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in demons. Now I believe that. Now I do believe that, like when people experience ghosts and things like that, I believe that what they're experiencing is like demonic things, and but the devil's real. That's why I like devil movies like that where they're possessed and stuff.
mm-hmm.
They freak me out. Like I will always say one of the scariest films was the Exorcism. The Exorcist of Emily Rose freaked me out for the longest. I've never seen it again since seeing it the first time. I just have no desire to watch that movie again. But no, this movie I thought, man, honestly, it made me uneasy. There's parts in this movie that made me uneasy, and I would say that to the filmmaker that it's cool that he was able to do that with very minimum special effects,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, it made me really interested in Ruth Blackwell's story. Like, I want to know a lot more about her, and it's a 7-part series, so there is more to learn. But towards the end of the movie, they're replaying the footage, and you see her. I'm assuming it's her because she's the ghost. I'm like, that was creepy to put it in slow motion like that, and you see her presence. I mean, I thought that was creepy.
Yeah, I didn't notice her the first time live whenever it happened. I
Yeah, I
noticed
didn't either.
like I seen like the moment that he turns around, because at one part, for those that haven't seen it, with spoilers, and I'm sorry, but there is a part in the movie where he to see if he can get he said Ghost loves balls, like bouncy balls, and
Yeah.
you put it out, they're gonna want to move it or do something with it, and so he puts like some toilet paper on a coffee table with a blue ball sitting in the middle of it, and that's his thing to see if they mess with the ball or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like the well has a big heavy sewer pipe, sewer lid on top
Yeah.
of it. But also there's some vice grips or suppliers that kept it where the guy can get in and out of it if he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever the filmmaker went in to investigate the hole, the well, he didn't put the pliers back, so he just closes it shut without the pliers and leaves. And when he turned, when he went down to the basement, my first thought was, man, if you don't look over at that well, that's what I was thinking. If you don't take a camera and look at that well, but as soon as he turns around and looks and sees the well lid with the pliers and the ball on top of it, I said, I'm out. I'm leaving my wife. She'll make it out this house right now, then that's on her. But
On her. You're just gonna leave. You're gonna abandon the wife.
man, she's getting on my nerve. Like in that movie, like his wife, not my wife, his wife is getting on my nerves. Because she was like, why should I call the police? What's going on? What's going on? What are you scared? Maybe I should go down there. It's just an old house. The house make noises. I'm like, do you not know where we at?
But she does kind of have a point about the police. What's the police going to do with a ghost?
I don't know, but you better call them. I need somebody. Because it's kind of like the idea of turning on the lights to make it better. but this ghost turned out all the lights. Man, like, you know what I thought was going to happen at the end is that it was going to be like a grudge situation. He goes back to Kentucky and the ghost has followed him there. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's one thing I don't like about the grudge is that ghost is not contained. It attaches itself to you. That's messed up. That's messed up. That's different level.
It's the best kind, right?
No, I want it to be there and not leaving it just days, and I know that I can just avoid it. It's like, you know, like I'm not gonna go into Freddy Krueger. Well, that ain't a good example because he can just haunt your dreams. But I'm not going to Crystal Lake. That's what I'm saying. Something like that. I know he's there. I'm good.
But your curiosity is going to get the best of it, and you got to go back to make sure he's still there or he's not there. You know?
Not me.
White people.
Listen,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That's why I can't wait for that movie, The Blackening, because I can't
oh
wait
my
to see
god!
what
I
happens.
saw the trailer to that. I was like, yeah.
Are you gonna watch it? Or
of course, I'm gonna watch it, but I think it's gonna be so ridiculous. To me, here's what it is to me: it's them making fun of white people, but also making fun of black people. But I feel like the black people are opposing. This is what a white person would do in these situations. You know,
very accurate, man. Like, yeah, we nope. It's a good word because it's a first thought, and that's what I said last night watching this. I said nope, no. Water running, and then he cut out for. Then he turn around, and all of them running again. I'm like, no. I'm gonna be like, hey, honey, we gotta leave. I'll beat you outside.
You're supposed to. You can't just leave her. Oh. What kind of husband are you?
The kind that just leave her. That's what kind.
I love how you look behind you to make sure she wasn't there.
That's my own Blackwell ghost. No, not funny. But no. But seriously, the movie, man. Like, I thought it was for what's worth, man. I thought the movie was interesting. Yeah. I thought for what the little small budget was that they had, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how much it cost. I would say under 30,000. Just how it looked. I mean, it looked like an authentic documentary that they encounter a ghost. I thought the story was very interesting. I love the concept of it. It kept me invested from beginning to end. I never was bored with it. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I was curious to see the Rotten Tomatoes score on it. But I would say that's because not a lot of people have seen it. It has a 50% audience score, but I don't think that's fair because I don't think that a lot of people have seen it. You know, if you hadn't have, if Kate hadn't have suggested this, I know I would have never watched it.
Yeah, I had never before.
I'm glad that she suggested, and if anybody else has any more movies to suggest for us, definitely. But I would say that I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and it was short. It's only an hour long, so you're not wasting time. I think that it's cool that they did it like that. Yeah. I don't know if the rest of them are like that, but I like that they did this one like that. So.
Yeah, I think a couple of the others are like 60 to 70 minutes. I think one of them's like 80 minutes, but it's still pretty short. If they're done the same way, and I'd be very curious to watch them. I mean, see how the story unfolds.
Yeah, one thing that I thought was going to happen is when he first got to the house, he takes a picture of the house. I thought that we was going to later go back and see that picture and see the ghost standing in the window or something. I thought that would have been kind of cool. And there are some parts that was really like the footsteps and stuff going upstairs. It's simple, and the thing is, movies that don't have like seeing the bad guy, seeing the monster is one thing, but not seeing the monster is in your brain. You make up the worst.
Yeah.
And like Jaws did a good job of that until you seen Bruce. But and even then you was then at the point you're like, oh Lord, it's a big shark. But before then, just not seeing the monster kind of makes it in your mind of what is it? What am I not seeing? And so I thought that this movie did a good job with like not flat out showing like a ghost, but just
Yeah.
like showing like little simple things. Like one of the best scenes in Sixth Sense, one of the best scary scenes in Sixth Sense to me was when he's sitting at the table and she's talking to, and Tony Collette's talking to him and going around. She leaves and comes back and all the cabinet doors are open and he's just sitting at the table, haven't moved. I thought that was like one of the scariest scenes. And you didn't even see a ghost. And I think this movie does a great job with that, with like the water turning on, and the water's off, but the water's back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He did a really good job with those creepy scenes with the water, the stove being on, the smoke. When the smoke was happening, I thought that's the time where we're really going to see this ghost just go complete mental, But you really couldn't see what was going on when he finally found the stove and turned it off. It was like, man, what is she planning? Like, what is she really planning?
You know what I was thinking at the same time? Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, man, if you don't come down these stairs with me, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking we're going down together. I was thinking that the whole time. If we gotta go down here to the basement, we're gonna go down together. If I gotta investigate, we're gonna whatever sound we gotta investigate. We are going as a team. We're one flesh. We're gonna go together. Because listen,
Aaron's scared. That's why.
yes, but also both of us don't have to get it. That's all I'm saying.
You're gonna be that dude that pushes his wife in front.
Man, I can't say that I wouldn't.
I could say you would.
I'm just saying. I love her, but I'm just saying. You don't know what. You don't know
He
what
says he loves her. I love myself first.
You don't know what you know. You don't know what you're gonna do in this situation. You think about George Costanza when he thought there was a fire and he pushes the grandmother.
Yeah, that's when you don't want to be compared to George Costanza.
No, you really don't. But that's my first thought. But no, are you ready to give your marks for this movie?
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on the Markout meter.
Yeah, I lay in the same place as you. 4 out of 5. I thought for what it was, short budget. It's not the best low budget, little shot like a documentary found footage type of movie. But I think it's something that more people should see. And like you said, it gets you interested to see the rest of them.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this, and maybe it's controversial, maybe it's not, but it's a better time than Paranormal Activity, in my opinion. The story flows better. It's just overall better. And I'm not a fan of those. I think I gave Part 2 the best score. The only good review I gave was Part 2. So, yeah. But to me, it's much better than those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's way better than Paranormal Activity. I don't even like those films. But
that's what people would compare it to, and rightfully so. I mean, it's very similar what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I just like this better.
Did Paranormal Activity come out in 2010 or 2011?
Around there, yeah.
All right, so this is still within that same ghost found footage type of thing that was happening. But all right. So next week we are going to be doing another fan request. It's going to be Bill for the Hobbit's request. Brewster's Millions, the movie with Richard Pryor. I've seen it before. Brandon hasn't seen it, so it's going to be a first time viewing for Brandon.
Sure
but
is.
Brandon, anything you want to say?
Oh, what do I want to say? If you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more like this episode, click that like button, click that share button, and subscribe to the Markout Movie Podcast channel.
Yep. And if you like this shirt that I'm wearing, I got it from a place called Emmaus Apparel. You can go to Emmaus Apparel. I might put a link on our Markout Movie Podcast page, and just use the promo code to get a percentage off. It is Marking Out. So Marking Out to get some clothes, some swag from Emmaus Apparel. It's a gospel-based shirt company that, trying to spread the gospel. But yeah. All right. In the meantime, in between time, Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie Podcast. See you next week.